Thursday, March 30th, 2017, and this is Bob and Ed's Movie Podcast.
I'm Bob.
And I'm Ed. A little bit later than we would have liked, but, life gets in the way. It happens.
Yeah.
So we're recording when we can record. So we have a couple movies to talk about, and we also have a listener request to explain another term that we've used, or at least they've maybe heard of. This time it's MacGuffin. So, per Wikipedia, a MacGuffin is a plot device in the form of some goal, desired object, or other motivator that the protagonist pursues, often with little or no narrative explanation. So, some of the examples they use. What are some of the examples they use?
Well, perfect example would be the briefcase at the beginning of Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
It really actually has no, what's in that? Nobody even knows. That is sort of the key, but it drives the story forward.
Yes.
It's why they're there. Why they're there is not actually important.
It's just the story is that they're there, not why they're there.
Yeah.
Another one is unobtainium.
Yes.
It might as well have called it MacGuffinadium.
Yeah.
And then didn't even bother to hide it. It's just a reason why they're on a planet other than Earth.
That's on Avatar.
Avatar, yeah. So why they're on Pandora? Yeah, there we go. That's the name of the planet.
That's why they're on Pandora.
That's why they're on Pandora, is to get unobtainium.
Yeah.
And then now that moves the story along. It doesn't matter what exactly unobtainium is. You just know it's difficult to get, and that's why everyone's there.
Yeah, it's something that just moves the plot forward. R2-D2. Well, the plans in R2-D2 and Star Trek.
Star Wars.
Oh, gonna get hate mail for that.
Yeah, can't wait for that. Yeah, obviously that totally moves the story along, or the plans of the Death Star.
Yeah, but we don't really care what the plans of the Death Star are. That doesn't affect us.
Yeah, you're always told, what are these plans of these Death Star? What's going on? Well, I guess we have to do this and do that, and
we gotta get here to do there to do this.
Friends become enemies. Enemies become friends. Everyone's richer for the experience.
Exactly, and everyone but Chewie gets a medal at the end.
Exactly. So that is what a MacGuffin is. So if we ever talk about MacGuffin,
which funny thing is, the Lego Batman movie, the name of the airplane at the very beginning of the film was
MacGuffin.
Was the MacGuffin?
I don't think I noticed that. That's funny. So yeah, a lot of in jokes in that one.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go back and watch that again.
That's definitely
see all the
repeat.
Yep, see all the little things in the background. So that would be fulfilling our listener request. So if anyone else has any questions, problems, answers, just send us a
tweet. I'm Bob Dot on Twitter.
Harnights on Twitter.
Yeah.
HARKNIGHTS.
Yeah.
So just send a tweet and we'll see what we could do.
Yeah.
So let's move on to some of the movies that we saw. I saw, finally, Moana, however you want to pronounce it.
There's people at my work who are complaining about our pronunciation of it, but whatever.
Anyway, I saw it. I liked it.
It was good?
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
I have not seen it. So.
Yeah, you have not seen it. It's worth watching.
It was nominated. Did it win?
That's an excellent question.
That is a good question.
No, because I thought something else was there. But it was, it was good. The songs were not the best songs that we've gotten out of.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind them.
Because it's Lin-Manuel.
Yeah, They were nice. They weren't the greatest.
Really?
Yeah.
Were they singable?
Yeah, Frozen. What was that?
Were they singable?
A couple of them were, I guess you could say. I could see people singing them and whatnot. And it was that'd be fun to sing. But in general, it was just I just thought they were just all right.
Okay.
They weren't as catchy as maybe some of the other ones. It wasn't like Let It Go, which
oh my God,
mega catchy. I could see that's a better song, but pretty good message, and The Rock's funny. There's a chicken in it that is hilarious. I mean, absolutely hilarious. I gotta admit, it was for a like just an oddball character that's just hanging around. It is pretty funny. It is. It could have almost had its own little short, and it would have been entertaining.
So if you like chickens,
Yeah, if you like chickens, and the boy likes his chickens, and this chicken it's pretty funny.
it is hilarious.
Yep, it's hilarious. It brings a lot of levity to maybe sometimes it may be a darker story.
How was the structure?
Thought it was okay.
That was cool.
It's kind of neat in that there's not a traditional bad guy.
Interesting.
Not in the same way that you would have maybe some other movies. I mean,
Other Disney films.
There's these films where there's truly
there's no Cruella de Vil.
No, it's not in that respect. I mean, there's explanations for a lot of stuff, and it's there's maybe like a badish guy, but even in general, it's like,
Is the badish guy doing stuff that is reasonable from his point of view, or is
Yeah,
he doing
yeah.
stuff? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's even a joke, like one of the bad guys, like, why does he hate you? He's like, I tore his leg off. It's like, well, then of course he's going to hate you.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he?
All right, yeah.
I mean, if anything, it's funny. If anything, The Rock's character is kind of a bad guy. And just maybe not, he's almost like the perfect example of an anti-hero of he's not there to be the hero and needs to be prodded and whatnot, but but there isn't like just your traditional, there's the bad guy,
There's the bad guy. We gotta
defeat the bad guy. The bad guy's evil. Hooray! For beating the bad guy. It's not like that. So in that respect, it was kind of cool.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd recommend watching it. I enjoyed it. I wasn't too bored. Maybe there's a couple parts here and there where it runs a little long, but in general it was set up pretty well.
It's an hour and 47 minutes. So.
Yeah, maybe it could have been like an hour and 42 minutes. I mean, it's like we're picking nits there.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, when I say it's like there's a couple parts, there's just maybe if you could have trimmed a minute here and a minute there, but I mean, I could say if that was like it was a 2 hour and 7 minute, then it's like that would have been way too long. There's not enough story for something like that. So there's enough story for a $1.47.
So since it's more a kids film, do you feel that like parents will enjoy it equally, or is it one of those like?
No, I think it's a good, like, everyone can watch it and pretty much enjoy it.
All right, is it good repeat? Because
I think so.
Kids love like
watching it again.
Yeah.
I think so. The chicken makes it worth it.
Okay.
There's enough. I think that's why the chicken's there. There's a lot of like this chicken is there to make sure they give you a chuckle every time you watch it. Like, that's pretty funny.
Okay.
So if you have to watch it a bunch of times, it's like I'm just gonna watch that stupid chicken. and that's the funny thing is it is a stupid chicken.
Nice.
Like beyond stupid chicken. So it'll be fun to watch. It's not like that's some sort of spoiler or anything. I mean, you immediately find out this is one dumb chicken. Yeah, I could say that when one of the few times the main character's mother and father don't die.
Nice for a Disney film. That's impressive.
That's as far as I'll go.
Oh, jeez. Don't want to know more.
No, you don't want to know more. But technically, the father and the mother do not die.
Oh.
So yeah.
So you got that going for us.
Yeah. So nice. It was one of those. Hey, yeah, we are always criticized that the mother and father don't die. Well, okay. Well, then we just won't have the mother or the father die. So technically that we made it. Okay, well, technically you did it.
You're technically correct.
Yeah, you are
the best type of right.
Yep, the best type of correct is to be technically correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it's it's pretty standard fare. It's
what do you rate it?
I think actually for a Disney film, I think I gave it a 9. I think it was.
Wow.
It was a good message. It was what I kind of liked about it was, the princess isn't looking. I mean, in some way, yeah, she's looking for someone to help her do something, but she's not just looking for someone to do something. And when she finds them, okay, you go do it. I've done my job. It's more of, I need to find you. You're the MacGuffin.
Okay.
It's like almost you're the MacGuffin. Like, I gotta find you, and now that I found you, now we can go do this. And she's an active member of doing whatever it is that's being done.
She's not the princess that needs saving.
Yeah, she doesn't need saving. She's the one that's like, she's actively doing everything.
Okay.
Unlike maybe some of the other ones where someone is saving this princess. It's like, okay, no one's coming to save her. There's no one. There is no one. It's just her. She's the one that's doing it. She finds the rock. And the rock's part of the what needs to be done. But I mean, in general, it's
all her.
Her. She's the one that's doing it and being proactive instead of reactive. So it was kind of neat in that respect. It's like, oh, cool. Follows the same basic 3 acts. Reach a pinnacle, but then have some sort of adversity that has to go through. To go through at the very end, and then come through that adversity and is better for it at the end. And
Yes.
blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
It was
Standard 3 acts.
It was pretty Mad Lib in terms of like story structure. It's
Okay.
like there's almost kind of like here's the template, just fill in the blanks, and there's the story.
All right.
So yeah.
All right. Cool.
So what did you watch? Well, I already know what you watched because I wasn't available at this time when everyone went to go watch
Kong Skull Island.
Man, I still haven't seen it too.
Oh, it's not my fault. Then,
I know. I had
You're involved in 2 separate baseball.
Yes, I know.
Fantasy leagues.
I know that all coincided all at one, like massive, critical mass of stuff. So what did you think of it?
I enjoyed it. It was a really good monster film. I really enjoyed it a lot compared to the Godzilla film from a couple years ago.
Okay, well that's damning with faint praise because I hate that movie.
Yeah,
Anyway, go on.
but that's the whole thing. It's like I really enjoy it. Like it's really good.
Oh, okay. That's what I heard is that they didn't go through. Some of the things I've heard is the last Kong film is we gotta have these massive storylines for all these humans and go through all their stuff and blah. And this movie is like, how about we just show you a bunch of monsters fighting each other? Is that pretty much?
Well, there's a lot of like monsters fighting each other, but there's also a lot of like there is sort of like an introduction to each character, each major character,
Okay.
somewhat. Throughout the film, the way it begins is kind of like, well, that's interesting because it's a really interesting like intro. Like the first 5 minutes is sort of like almost a precursor to it's like the cold opening of like a film where it's like of different things where it's like this this is something that happened 20 years ago type thing on the island, and then we go to the future and you're like, oh, okay, they're going to the island. Okay, we kind of know what's going on. But what's really cool is it's just, Samuel L. Jackson's great in it. He definitely plays that like
the Samuel L.
military-
Jackson character.
He plays Samuel L. Jackson, the military version.
Okay.
And good random like kind of quirky supporting cast of other military people.
John Goodman's in it, right?
John Goodman's.
He's good as usual.
He's great in it.
How about Tom Hiddleston? I think he's in it.
He's good in it. Tom Hiddleston's plays sort of the. My job is to get you out of whatever island. He's sort of like a survival type expert that they hire.
I heard a complaint that you don't actually see him actually doing any.
No, you don't see him do squat.
Which was the person I talked to was disappointed in that. It was like where they have this all big build up of like how great a survival person he is, and it's
And
like,
then you never actually see
and
him
then you
do
never
anything
actually be a survival.
Yeah.
Doc,
But at the same time, it's
call
like,
back. Talk about Chekhov's gun that didn't go off. Right?
oh yeah. Well, even then, like they just kind of go like, he'll get you through the island, and it's like, what did you do? He got you through the island. Like, there was a couple.
We just didn't see him do it.
You didn't see a lot actually. There was a top like. They probably left a lot on the cutting room floor.
So that's what I'm wondering.
Because there's literally like a character who just like randomly appears like,
oh,
hey, when they meet up with him again? Because at some point they all scatter and then you
and then all of a sudden they're met up. So yeah, I bet
there's one guy.
I bet there's a 3-hour version. They're like, okay, one of the big problems of the previous King Kong was it was a 3-hour long film, and we don't want a 3-hour long monster film. And so that's
so they were like, is Kong or another creature in it? Nope. Scene's gotten cut.
Yep, getting cut. I heard John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly like steals the film.
That's what I've heard. I heard it's like he's ironically the like heart of the film.
He's what saves the film. Like I feel that like because the thing is, it's like there are times where it's like, wow, this got really dark and like bloody. And
which was like another thing I heard is like it's a monster film combined with Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Which is like, wow, that's like super dark.
There's like super dark bits, but what kind of saves it is it's like, wow, I'm like, this is really dark. This is kind of sad. Hey, John C. Reilly, he's in there with the laughs, and it like works. You're like, oh, I really like him. I like his interaction with people. There's several bits where I'm like, did he just ad lib like that interaction, or did he? You know, or was that in the script? Because there's a couple things where it's all like, I think he thought this character. It's one of those. John C. Reilly is like, there is a reason why he's been nominated for Oscars before, you know, and he can do drama and whatever. He plays a military person, and you know, I think he's Army, and the Samuel L. Jackson characters are all Army, and there's a certain scene where like he shows up and he's all like. You can kind of tell there's that half second of like, oh, you're in charge. Oh, you're black. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
All right, cool. You're in charge. All right. Yeah, like this. Things have changed.
I've heard that some people are already saying that they're trying to get like grassroots things going to get him like, nominated for potentially Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah,
is he that good? That.
He's that good.
Wow, that's awesome.
He's just really good. It's like one of those like, it's one of those like I wish I knew a little bit more about the acting process just to like, kind of because it's like he's so good in like embodying like that character. What's interesting is I found out that they originally wanted Michael Keaton for the part.
How interesting.
And it's one of those like, I feel he could play that type of character. I've been stuck on this island for 20 years. You know, I'm trying to get off. Hey, new people. Hey, cool, thanks. But I don't think he would have the levity of it. I think, like...
What was the movie that Night Shift? Was that Michael Keaton?
Night Shift?
Yeah, Bizarro.
Yeah.
But that's more of dark comedy, so you probably just have a dark comedy and a dark film, and that would just make it dark.
That's the thing. I think because there's like a line in it where, you know, John C. Reilly kind of threatens somebody in that like I don't know if he's serious or not kind of way because he's just maybe crazy, and I think Michael Keaton would be like, oh no, I think it's one of those like I think he would kill this man like that like because he's crazy. It's not like that's funny, haha. That's more of like
creepy. He's gonna kill this guy.
Yeah, it's the John C. Reilly's like I'm gonna kill you type of way, and you're like haha, and you keep on walking. You beat him.
Like wait,
like Michael Keaton would be like oh god, that's the guy that I'm gonna walk across the street and like. So
yeah.
What's funny is there is actually a character that like randomly appears like near the beginning, like it's justified why she's there. But I'm like, oh wow, like I know that person's story, I know that person's story, I know that person's story, that person's story.
Oh, yeah, who is it? It's the chick in it, huh?
It's the chick, not Brie Larson.
Not Brie Larson, but there's another girl in it.
Tang Jung, or whatever.
I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah,
Is she Chinese? Is she just like the Chinese thing where that way we can market this in China?
I could. Okay, she's in the Great Wall, so yes, but at the same time, it's like her character is sort of there, but it was just kind of weird. It's like, oh, I guess she's part of that team. That's weird because she's not part of the team that just randomly gets like. The whole point of the plan was they're there with a mapping crew to map the island, Landsat. But she's not part of the Landsat crew. She's part of the Monarch crew, which is the John Goodman and what is it? It's I can't think. One of the other characters now. I can't think of his name. But she's with like that crew who's actually knows that there's probably monsters on the island, but hasn't told anybody.
Oh,
yeah. So it's kind of one of those like, wait, why? It was one of those because there's an earlier scene with like two characters. She's one of three characters. There's another scene earlier with two of the characters. She could have easily been like a third character in that scene, and you're like, okay, cool. Like these three people are this. It's almost like they shot that first scene, and then someone goes, "Hey, we get an extra like $1 million if we include this person in the film." Oh, she's in the film now.
Mm.
You know, it's not that jarring, but it's just one of those like, oh, that's weird. Fairly standard 3X structure. It is neat how they separate the groups because Kong
does
screws stuff up and 3 or 4 people. There is a bit like at the beginning where there's a whole lot of like almost like battle scene going on where people are dying left and right, and I could have sworn like, oh wow, they killed that actor off real quick, and then like later on he appears and I'm like, okay, I have no clue who like half these like. I thought that was somebody else who died. I'm confused. Everyone in a military outfit kind of looks the same when they're running.
Got it.
That was my issue. I was like, yeah, because it's what's this dude's name? It was Shia Wigham.
Shia Wigham. Oh yeah. I think I'm not sure. He was in Agent Carter.
Yeah, he was in Agent Carter.
He was in. There's a couple other things that he was.
He's in.
Actually, I like him.
I like him. Well, that was the thing.
Well, that's right. He was in Wolf of Wall Street. He was Captain Ted.
That's right. I thought somebody else, some other character dies. I thought it was him. And I was like, oh, that sucks. Like, I like that guy. I would have liked him. And then he's in like later scene. And I'm like, oh, I'm confused on who died, but that's okay.
Interesting.
But overall, it's a really good monster film. I really like it. All
right, cool. So how many stars you give it?
I think I gave it 8.
Okay.
Just because like it's a monster film. It does what it does, but at the same time, I'm not like it's the greatest thing ever. Like I think a 9 would be like the greatest thing ever. Like yeah. It does its job.
It's a 7.1 on IMDb. That seems a little low.
No, it's one of those. If you gave it a 7, I'd be like,
all right, that's all right. Okay.
Yeah, it's just I could also be comparing it to like how much I hated Godzilla. Then I'm like, it's an 8. Like,
yeah.
Because it's supposed to be a connected universe, so you got that. But there's neat things that it did. I like the fact that like there's more physical set pieces.
Oh, that's cool.
Than
CG?
Than CG. Like, CG is like, if there's a giant, 80-foot creature, yeah, that's that. But there's an entire, like, village at some point where it's like,
cool deal.
They just made a village. Like,
yeah.
It's like, oh, they got all these weird extras doing things. It's like, those are extras. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool deal. Anything else to add about it?
Let's see. Stayed at the end. Because there's an post-credit scene.
Ooh, how exciting.
Yeah. The only problem is we did not actually stay to the end.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
That's what happens when you, like, drink a giant soda.
Oh.
It was like, gotta go.
Gotta go. Not waiting.
Not waiting. Don't care.
But there is a post-credit scene. Okay.
This is not a Marvel. they're trying to do the whole cinematic universe type thing, so it ties into probably the next monster film.
Cool.
That's what I've heard. I haven't actually seen it, but I'm like, all right, that's cool. I felt like you said, like the Apocalypse Now type
Cool deal.
feel to it. Felt good. So overall, definitely go see it.
Cool deal.
Definitely see it on like a big screen because like Kong is giant. Lizard creatures are giant. Octopuses are giant.
Oh, cool.
I
didn't know there was
bugs
octopus.
are giant.
I didn't know there was an octopus in this film.
As far as I know, the only thing I don't really see is like straight up like that's a dinosaur.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will have to watch it another time. I'm not sure when.
We'll get around to it.
Yes. Have WonderCon coming up, so I don't know if we're going to go to any panels or anything. We're doubtful for that.
That is doubtful. Mainly because we've been going to Comic-Con for 20...
Let's just say 20 years.
And we were always the panel people. There's people who cosplay it. There's people who just go to buy stuff. And we were always like, oh, well, we're going to the movie panel or TV show panels.
Yes.
And it was great because it was, this is, and they even tell you, you're the first ones to see this. This is exclusive to this room. Don't videotape anything. Don't post anything online. Blah, 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 blah. And, we were very respectful. That's why we're there. That's why we slept like the bums a couple times.
Yes.
And,
and they'd show something and a day or 2 or 3 days later, that information would get out because of people like us.
Yeah.
And you'd see it in the trades and whatnot. Oh, people are reporting they saw this at Comic-Con.
Yeah, that a couple days later, or even like when I was there, I wouldn't make it to every panel. So you'd go online and you're like, oh, cool, they announced this, they showed that. Oh, that'd be really cool to see. I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. We slept like the bums. And somebody screwed up on their posting because it was the Warner Brothers panel and we're in line and they're posting what we're going to see in the panel. And the way it was written was all like, people just got the exclusive look of XYZ, and like somebody knew the time frame of when we were supposed to see stuff, but they got the East Coast, West Coast timing wrong.
I remember that.
And
you're just like, you said, oh, I guess we're going to see this in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And 20 minutes later, that's what we saw.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
So I was just like scrolling through, like, oh. And that was bad. And then last year was like the straw on the camel's back. And it was the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel?
That's the one that really bothered me, is the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel. They made a big deal. We're all in it. And the guy that plays Coulson, who I can't remember off the top of my head, I can't remember.
Phil Clark?
Yeah, Phil Clark. He keeps making a big deal. Hey, can we let him see it? Can we let him see it? It's like, no, we're gonna wait. Talk about other stuff in the panel. Hey, can we show him now? No, we can't show him now. Finally, at the end, it's like, we gotta show him now. And then they show the teaser of Ghost Rider. You see the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing, then you see it catch on fire, and then you see the face of Ghost Rider. And it's like, what is going on? And they come, yes, you see it right, everybody. Ghost Rider's coming to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's like, holy crap, let me go post it on Facebook. So I open up Facebook, and on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. page, they've already posted it.
Yep.
And it's like, what? Wait a minute. I couldn't even get to my Facebook in time to post what I just saw, and you're already posting it. Why was I there?
Yeah, why did
and
I
in
wait
fact,
in
I even
line?
had, it was like, wait a minute, they already just posted some of the other stuff that was on here. Like, why did I wait in line if I could have just gone to Facebook and saw the entire thing? And I think this year, this last year, I think there's only been one thing that we haven't seen online, officially released, that we saw there, and that was the Guardians of the Galaxy footage that they show.
Yes.
I think that's the only thing, is all that Guardians of the Galaxy footage. They still haven't shown any of it.
No. Which
And-
was awesome.
was awesome.
Which is awesome, but is it sleeping like,
It's like
the
a bums. Yeah, we
trying
spent
to
an entire day sitting in a room. We didn't get to go to other places. We didn't get to do other stuff.
It was just
Like,
no.
no, it wasn't worth. I mean, yeah, it was super cool, but there's, we're going to see Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that was the thing.
We already have tickets to go see Guardians of the Galaxy.
Actually, yeah, we do.
So we have tickets to go see Guardians of the Galaxy, so we're planning on seeing Guardians of the Galaxy. So the one thing that they had that was pretty cool, we were already planning on seeing, and that was...
Yeah. And I think that another issue is there's so many of those middle panels that we would go to where it'd be like
women who kick ass, and nothing wrong with
actually
seeing a panel of because some of them were pretty cool.
But the thing is, it's like the Entertainment Weekly Women Who Kick Ass panel is always on one of them, and I always see another Entertainment Weekly panel. I can't remember which one it was.
It was like Young Stars or Rising Stars
or something like that, and it was just like it was just like this is just people like, oh, what's your worst experience for a film, or what's that? It's not that the women kick ass. It's not like actresses, and I don't care about that. It's just like nobody's going to go too deep.
Yeah, exactly. Although there has been times where they have gone deep, and it ends up being an okay panel, but
the thing is, it's like Sleep Like the Bums okay panel?
Exactly.
No. It's that'd be awesome if I could just walk into that panel and see it.
Yeah. That would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, there was no reason for them to be where they were, and so they blocked us all off and made us watch stuff that we didn't necessarily want to watch. I really wanted to watch the last time was the Aliens 30th anniversary. I wanted to watch that, but and then an entire group that was with us, I was maybe you wanted to watch it. I don't know if you were really that into it.
I think it was like I wanted to. Wait, did I see that?
I'm not even sure if you saw it because everyone else was like, ugh.
Did I see that?
You might not have. Did you see how awful Michael Biehn looked?
Yes, I was there.
Okay,
because it had the girl.
Yes,
she was
the
there.
girl there.
Yes.
But even then, that's like one of those things where that wasn't a Sleep Like the Bums thing. That was a kind of panel that we could have seen in other places, and I don't know.
There's just not enough.
Yeah, I'm kind of done with all that, and that's Comic-Con where they bring everything. I don't think they bring everything for WonderCon, and I don't know. Anymore, stuff comes out so quick.
And now also it's more just straight marketing.
Yeah.
It used to be really cool. Like you talked to Dean Devlin.
Yeah, if you want to take the way back.
Yeah, we're going way back machine.
You put the way back machine before Stargate came out with Dean Devlin. We were in a panel for that. And it was Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich. Both of them were there. And there was, let's just say there was 100 people in the panel.
Yeah.
Meaning like people watching it, not participants in the panel. It was Dean Devlin, Roland Emmerich. I can't remember if anyone else, like any of the stars were there.
Maybe a third stringer, like the guy who plays the lieutenant colonel.
If that, probably not. But what was cool was after the panel was over, Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich started walking around, and I got to talk to... Which one did I get to talk to?
Dean Devlin.
Dean Devlin. I got to talk to him and ask him questions, hey, about the story and where it was going and the universe and getting deep into it. And, that was really cool. And, it's kind of hard to even fathom, of that kind of interaction anymore.
Like now, it would be the minute the panel would be over, they would go back behind the thing.
Yeah, take a bunch of pictures for Entertainment Weekly. Get interviewed by 5 different people. IMDb would shoo them off to a boat to be interviewed by
Kevin Smith.
And you never get to see them or have that kind of interaction where, they can't even see you on the stage, much less talk to you.
The number of times where you can tell they're just looking at it and they're like, I can't see the back.
I
can't see the back.
You
of the
can't
place.
see anything, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. That was when I might have uncovered Dean Devlin's storyline, where he's explaining Stargate and that there's a Stargate in Egypt, and he plans on 3 more films, and it was like, oh, cool. So there's 3 more films. Does that imply that there's other Stargates in the other parts of the world, like say Stonehenge is a Stargate, and maybe the Mayans had a Stargate? And he just looked at me like, you mother...
Yeah.
You just ruined my film. Like, that was my idea, or holy crap, that's a better idea. Now I can't use it.
Because now you're
because the whole thing is like, oh, the Stargate goes to another universe, and it's like, okay, well, there are other Stargates to go to other universes, and does that explain why where they are? Maybe there's Incans, and that explains why they disappeared. Is they just went to another universe, and it was like, yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, never mind, I didn't mean to screw up your film.
Whoopsie.
But he made ID4, so I guess that makes it okay, right?
Whatever.
He also made. Well, he didn't actually have anything to do with regurgitate.
No.
Anyway, so we're not going to go to any panels probably because we'll just go to
hit the floor.
We'll go back and we'll open up Reddit and see what it says under movies, and we'll probably get more information that way.
There's also the whole I heard there's a new Spider-Man trailer out. I have not watched it because I hear it basically is the film in 4 minutes.
I kind of saw bits and pieces, and I was trying to avoid it because on Facebook, if you happen to scroll up, all of a sudden it'll start playing, and I've been trying to avoid it. But I have seen a couple things, and it's like, yeah, that kind of looks like it's going to tell us what the movie is.
And I
I don't want to see what the movie is.
No, you have my money.
Yeah,
shut up.
Shut up. Stop talking. Although I did see the picture. Have you seen the picture of Michael Keaton as? Nope. It looks really. It's not him in the suit. It's just him. Just hey, this is just me. And it was like, oh, that's a really cool interpretation of what the Vulture looks like.
Yes.
That it was really cool. Like, wow, you guys. That's pretty neat. That's a pretty innovative way of making it. Because you're thinking of the old Vultures. Like it's super old guy and kind of corny and whatever, but just him standing there, it incorporates enough of the original costume and look that you go, oh, that's like really cool how you did that, but it's not corny and it's not whatever. I thought it was really neat.
Yeah,
really really cool. So I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, you don't need to show me anything. I mean, if anything, if you pull a Justice League, you're just going to make me go, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Maybe you should stop showing me stuff because now I'm getting worried.
Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing Wonder Woman, and then you start showing me Justice League stuff, and I'm like,
it's like,
same people?
Oh. Actually, it's not the same people. That's the way it might still be interesting.
It might be interesting.
Different director for Wonder Woman, and that might make a difference.
Oh, speaking of that, we're going to segue into something slightly different, but we're going to keep on recording. Wonder Woman reminded me, split of the brain, that they announced that Josh Whedon is supposed to do a Batgirl.
I didn't even read the article. I think I saw it on Reddit.
Yeah,
wait, what?
I just read that he's going to do a Batgirl, and my first thought was, is this going to be like DC's Wonder Woman with Josh Whedon? Which, if you turn the Wayback Machine to 10 years ago,
is that what it was?
I think it was the same time, 8, maybe 8, because it was him, it was Josh Whedon, and Edgar Wright were both, I think, announced at around the same time.
Oh, you're right. That is
Edgar Wright was going to do Ant-Man, Josh Whedon was going to do Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And because it was before, I think it was before Captain America even came out, because the whole point was, at least the rumor was that he wanted to do it in a World War II environment, and DC was all like, everyone's bored with World War II.
It's not going to work.
You can't do a film set during World War II.
You can't start a franchise with a World War II period piece. Who would be stupid enough to do that? Captain America,
the first Avenger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, and that's happened numerous times with some other stuff where it's like, okay, yeah, you announced Josh Whedon. It's like you announced The Rock as Black Adam. And I'm like, when?
Yeah, exactly.
Actually,
maybe this is a backdoor into, if this works, maybe they'll get Joss Whedon to fix the DC universe.
Maybe.
That's all we could hope. I mean, as much as Zack Snyder makes things look pretty, he just does not know what he's doing in this.
He knows how to make moments that are perfect for you can take that and print it out and throw it on the wall. And that's my poster.
Yeah.
Woo!
I guess it would be some frames of painting, or
yeah.
not every frame. but just some frames.
Well, in fact, I'm going to go with probably the Nerd Writer on YouTube, I believe. Had an entire thing about Josh Whedon, not Josh Whedon, about Zack Snyder, and how the way he even framed, like, places characters, this is the shot that I want, that way everyone looks pretty in this one shot that the camera eventually gets to. But I'm not going to start there, or whatever. And then the way the actors even act is, I'm on my mark. I'm not allowed to move.
I could see that.
I'm not allowed to do anything, and we have to do this scene where I can't move. Like,
I could see that.
It comes across as very restrictive in the motion of the.
But you remember these awesome scenes of how they look.
Yeah, you remember that, but it's like as you're watching the film, you're like, none of these characters seem real. None of them seem like they're doing something that a character in that situation would do. They're just, I'm the statue in that shot, because he wants that perfect frame.
So he wants. I guess that would make sense, because he does kind of. It almost does seem like he has actors behave instead of act.
Yeah, a perfect example is, I believe it's in Batman v Superman.
Okay.
At some point, Lois Lane's talking to who's now the Secretary of Defense, whatever the general was in the first one.
Okay.
Can't think of the character's name.
Yeah.
About the bullet that she finds in her journal.
Yeah.
And they talk, and it's raining, and it's one of those, like, if I remember correctly, she never moves in that shot, and I think she's in the rain. And if she's not, it's like one of those, like, well, you're having a conversation with somebody, like, you might move. Like, no, she just, like, never stops. And, like, the scene ends, and it's just like, she never made a step in the entire thing. She's like, this is my mark. You don't want the Melanie Griffith of acting.
Yeah, it doesn't act, behaves. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully Joss will take over. They got to get rid of they got to have him write. Maybe just take over and then write him. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but
I have no clue.
But it doesn't look promising for Justice League, and it's falling apart if Ben Affleck's not going to direct Batman, and now it's looking like maybe there's not even going to be a Batman, and they're
starting things. I'm okay with that.
And they're starting over with Flash, and they're just everything just seems like a disaster, and they just don't know what they're doing.
But they're trying to keep catch up to Marvel, and Marvel's like, we just hire people that like kind of know what they're doing, and then let them go.
Pretty much. I mean, they have to follow the script, and maybe that's why Edgar Wright kind of fell out, is they wanted him to shoehorn it into their overall story.
Maybe. Yeah,
but in general, but somehow James Gunn can do Guardians of the Galaxy.
And James Gunn said and he said it before, he's all like, because someone asked him, and I follow him on Twitter, someone asked him, like, is there going to be a director's cut of the film later on? And he's all like, no, Marvel lets me do what I want to do, and the version that comes out is the one I like. It's the one I want. Marvel doesn't give me a lot of, it was like, Marvel doesn't tell me, oh, you got to include this or you got to do that. It's more of like, hey, I'm going to do this and this and this, and they're like, go for it, man.
So, yeah, it really makes you wonder what happened with Edgar Wright. Like, how does that fall apart? Because, I mean, you see the other movies. Winter Soldier is obviously they went and did their type of movie.
Jim Johnson, whatever.
I mean, yeah, that's a different style of movie.
That's a different style. And the funny thing is, it's like, if you look at that director's, one of his earlier films, The Rocketeer, it's like, oh yeah, you can totally tell that, like, these two
are similar films.
Similar films.
So you wonder what happened. How did I don't know, how did things get so bad that Edgar Wright had to leave?
I have no clue.
I guess it's one of those, maybe we'll never know.
Probably.
Would be a cool documentary, or at least a short.
Speaking of documentaries, I did watch a documentary earlier this week Doomed. It was on, I think it was on Hulu, maybe Netflix. It's all about the failed 1994 Fantastic Four film.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I have heard about that. I haven't seen it. I've heard it's a really good documentary.
It is amazing because what's funny is like I've always heard the rumor that it was never never meant to be released.
That's the way I always understood it.
The studio people knew, but like cast and crew did not.
It's like Argo.
Yeah, it's like Argo. But the thing is, like, based on like some of the things where it's like, I don't think Roger Corman knew that it was never going to be released, because there are times where it's all like they're like, "Hey, Roger, I need some film and a camera to shoot this scene," after they've already like done stuff, and he's all like, "Okay, yeah, cool. Here you go. I've finagled some funds over here, and here's some stock that we didn't use for that shoot, and here's a camera that I'm going to need tomorrow for this." So they did a lot more work, because if it was like, if you're Roger Corman and you know this wasn't going to ever see the light of day,
why would you go through all that?
why would you would do like?
So maybe they didn't even tell him.
I don't think they told him, or like maybe like he had the rights because it was him and some other studio, and they're like, "Yeah, you got the rights," and then somebody else came in and was all like, "If you don't release that and give it to us, we'll pay you this," and all of a sudden everyone's like, "Everyone stop! Here's your stuff." I did not realize that they actually showed the trailer at Comic-Con. Like, they had it on repeat on a monitor in one of the booths. Like, at Comic-Con in the 93, 94?
I would have been there.
You would have been there. But yeah, they actually showed like the trailer, and it's like,
God, I don't remember that. I would have been there though.
yeah. But it wasn't like, I don't think they had a panel, I think. But some of the actors are apparently there. So
God, I just don't.
That was a really interesting documentary. Which is also funny is it's also the only Fantastic Four film I've ever seen.
You've never seen the other ones?
No, I watched bits and pieces of it, where I
You're
realized
not
it's
missing
like,
anything.
yeah, that was the thing. I was like, I watched enough of like the first one from like 10 years ago.
Yeah, that was just like no.
I kind of went.
I
yeah.
never saw the sequel.
And then
the
they
Rise
had,
of the Silver Surfer.
Rise of the Silver Surfer. I think like one of those like watched the last half of it.
Whatever.
Because I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch this.
Once I heard that they screwed up with Galactus, looked like it was
a giant like hurricane.
Yeah,
thing.
Why? You get a cool character, cool villain. It's iconic. Let's just screw it all up.
Let's not.
I mean, and they already did the same thing with Doctor Doom. They made Doctor Doom different in the first movie. Mm-hmm. It's like you guys just don't get it.
No. And
the villain has looked the same and has been the same for 50 years, and people still think it's really cool. There's probably a reason why, and it's probably because they figured it out.
Yeah.
But no.
But no. Let's just and this last one, I think I watched the first 10 minutes on the airline and went, "Oh, this is a mistake."
Yeah, watching it on the airline would have been bad.
Yeah.
That movie actually made me mad. I mean, I was like angry after watching it. It was so bad.
Which just makes me also wonder, talking about like directors that had fallen outs with the studio, like that director like had a major falling.
Yeah, there was a big falling out. So you wonder what happened.
So I'm just wondering, it's like, is it really the director's fault, or is it the studio? Like,
Yeah, because from what we understand, it was the 1 year later part of the movie is when it became someone else had done it. It still had what's his name,
Trask.
Still has his name on it, but from what I understand, it had been completely redone, and it was stupid.
It was like from what I understand, it's like everything that's a reshoot because and I can't think of Sue Storm's actress. I can't think of her name.
What is her name? Mara?
Mara.
Which Mara is it? Is it Kate Mara?
Kate Mara.
Yeah.
Kate Mara had already like changed her hair or cut her hair or
I think she
dyed her hair.
bushed her hair or something.
Yeah, she had done something to her hair, so they used a wig, and it is the worst wig.
Yeah, the wrong color wig.
Yeah, it's like the wrong color in a different
it's not even the same. Yeah, it's not even the same color, guys.
Yeah. And I have like, it almost sounds like that's almost a protest choice by like her, she's like, that's the wig I'm gonna wear.
Yeah, I want to see Michael B. Jordan has different facial hair in different scenes.
Probably.
Has like a goatee in one scene, has a clean shaven in the next scene, and the scene after that is back to a goatee. And
he's like, I don't care.
Like, oh my god, yeah, it's the Reed Richards character has glasses and then inexplicably doesn't, and it's there's just so many things where
the Reed Richards actor worked with the director.
Penn? No, Teller.
Yeah.
Michael Teller?
I don't know.
Oh well, it doesn't matter.
But he worked with the director in the director's previous film,
which was Chronicle.
Chronicle, which makes me almost think like everyone involved was all like, "Screw this, I'm not
doing this."
They're screwing. There's like, I signed up for this. I liked what I got. This guy's in. What the studio wants to do is going to ruin this film. I'm not going to.
That kind of reminds me of I just listened to the Doug Lowe's movies that had Freddie Prinze and about how
I haven't actually listened to.
You haven't listened to it?
No.
It's only briefly talked about Scooby Doo, and he said, "I got to tell you, I read the script because who wrote the original? It was James Gunn." He said James Gunn wrote a script that had every joke that you wanted as a fan of Scooby Doo, and it was funny. It was hilarious. We all signed up for it. We got on a plane. When we got off the plane, they said, "Give us your old script. Here's the new script." All those jokes were gone. And he said we were, we're devastated.
Yeah.
It was like all those jokes were in there. He said in the original script, Velma was like a militant feminist. It's like Shaggy was like constantly smoking weed. The Scooby snacks were exactly what you thought Scooby snacks were.
Yeah.
I mean, it
because
was like
what's funny
full
is
on.
randomly,
everything that you thought like this is what I want out of this, and it's.
So what's funny is Comic-Con 99. I'm going to go with.
Let's just say that.
Sure, dates could be wrong. We went to the preview screening of The Specials, which was a superhero film written by James Gunn.
Yes.
That he actually stars in also.
Yes.
I met him like the next day on the floor with Jenna Fisher from The Office.
Because that's when he was still with her, right? Yeah.
They were engaged. They weren't even married yet.
That's why I said with her. I couldn't remember if they were married at the time.
They weren't married yet. I remember because I actually emailed them like afterwards and like they talked about
I want to say you're not the only yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. But it was funny because I actually had walked out of like the adult booth at Comic-Con when they had that like adult booth.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because I was like, I walked in, I was like, I gotta figure out what's in here.
It's exactly what I thought.
And I walked out, and like I walked out, I'm like,
oh, it's James Gunn.
You're James Gunn. And it wasn't like, hey, you're James Gunn, because like I had just seen a film that he had done the night before, and that was it. But I went, hey, you're the guy in the film, like, and
yes,
and like talked to the. Like 20 minutes. Like, I probably nerded out. Like I do.
No, because I think he was, as I recall...
But
somehow, anyway, go on.
Yeah, I think you ended up running into me and like...
I somehow didn't get involved with any of the conversations with James Gunn, but it seems like everyone that I was down there with was in a conversation with James. Because I think you're not the only one who were like, oh, here's my email address. It was like, how am I the only one who doesn't have James Gunn's email address?
But what's funny is I remember him. He's like, "Oh, I'm writing the script for Scooby Doo," and I was all like, "Oh my god, like, that's amazing!" And he's all like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have this," and he kind of talked about like what he was gonna do, and I was
funny.
like, "That's amazing! That's gonna be awesome!"
And that was in the original script.
And that was the original script.
And they came in and they just tore it all to bits.
Oh my god!
After everyone had signed on to play in the movie,
which I guarantee you, it's one of those like. There is a couple times where people were like, you never talk about like really bad films unless you randomly like you thought it was going to be good, and it's like, and I was like, yeah, because we don't go to
yeah, I can kind of tell there's a bad film.
This is not a movie review thing where we go to every film. We are not Leonard Maltin. Nope. And even Leonard Maltin doesn't go to every film.
Yeah, he doesn't go to every film. He has other people go to it and write reviews about horrible films.
Yeah, but it's one of those like that. It's. We're kind of picky, and it's just like, also, I'm amazed that any film's ever good.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Like, the number of times, like, people shit on Kevin Smith all the time. I love his films. Not because, like, oh, well, this is a 10 every time. It was just like, he tried.
Yep.
you know what? I'm not gonna like every film that it's like I like Edgar Wright. I like Edgar Wright a lot. He's not gonna do 100% films that I'm gonna like, but he might like it.
Yeah, I like Guy Ritchie, and we can start naming
God,
out.
we can. Yeah, I
Yeah,
still
Guy
love Guy
Ritchie.
Ritchie.
He's missed on a couple.
Yeah, and there's definitely going to be films where Guy Ritchie's going to do where I'm like, oh, Guy Ritchie's going to do that. Oh, I'll check it out. And that's one of those things where it's like marketing actually kills some of those films.
Yep.
It's like you might have got my dollar if like it was just like, hey, new Guy Ritchie film stars these two people. All right,
don't show me anything.
Don't show me anything. Don't ruin the surprise.
Yeah, that's a catch-22.
And that was the whole thing with like our Oscar films. That was one of the nice things. Is like we watched 2 films where I'm like, I don't even know if this is subtitled.
Yep, that's true.
And
I have no idea what this is about.
It's actually one of the reasons why I kind of want to try to start going to film festivals that show films before they're even marketed.
Yes,
because
that would be cool.
That would be the best. Just me going, hey, there's a film at 3:00. Let's go. And it's just like
because of the number of films where they say if you don't know anything about it, it'd be better. What was the name of the film that Doug mentioned? He saw Beautiful Island.
Yeah, I think it was Beautiful Island. And it was like that was it.
Don't let anyone tell you anything about it at all.
Yeah, he goes, I can't even summarize it.
Yeah, you wanted to go into it knowing nothing about it.
Yeah,
because that'll have the best experience.
And that's one of those things where it's all like, oh my god, I kind of want to like try to find it, but at the same time, if I Google too much,
you're gonna get.
I'm gonna get ruined.
The Wikipedia entry is gonna tell you what happens in it.
Yeah. So, but that's one of the things that's like and the next year I'm just gonna be a try. It's just like I want to see a film.
Pull what Doug does is like during these trailers, just leave. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
Like try to look every once in a while and then go back to my seat when it looks like it's about time to go back.
Yeah, like there's some things where it's like if like Kong Skull Island where it's like.
That might be one. That's a bad example because that was one that I had no interest in really seeing until that last trailer where it was like this might have been one of the best trailers I've ever seen.
Yes, but at the same time, it's one of those like. If you had just gone, hey, here's a film, and it's like, okay, what are we watching? As you sit down, we're watching Kong Skull Island. Oh, okay. It's almost like we should do like a. My friends called it in karaoke, kamikaze karaoke, where somebody else chooses a song for you. It's like we should almost do that with films soon.
Yeah.
Where it's just so like, and we can almost do that with your. Where we might start a new podcast where it's what was I going to call it? Your first time, and it's just films that like one of our friends hasn't seen, and we're going to show it to them.
Oh yeah.
An example would be recently somebody who watched
Usual Suspects for the first time, and
first time.
Yeah, Spencer, who you've heard, watched.
Yeah.
We saw Usual Suspects for the first time, and what was funny is like after we were done watching it, it's like, what did you think of it? And I think he said at one point, I'm kind of angry at myself for taking this long to watch this film.
Yeah.
It's like I've deprived myself of seeing Usual Suspects, and this was an amazing film. And I've never, had never seen it, and it's taken me this long.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's just one of those like I kind of want to do that just with films in general, which is why I like the IMDb like top 250 kind of. It's one of those like. This could be the greatest thing ever, or it could be like, I'm confused and I don't get it. It's not my type of film. A friend of mine did that recently with Strawberry Fields, I think it was called.
That sounds familiar.
It's a Swedish film.
I was even going to say it's a European film.
I can't think of the director's name, but he did like The Seventh Seal and
Bergman.
Bergman.
Yes. That's where I saw it.
My friend randomly watches it. In fact, she has a Wednesday night movie thing where, basically her boyfriend programmed his TV to you hit the Wednesday night play button, and it will play a film that's in IMDb's like. If it's rated like 7.5 or higher,
cool!
It will randomly play one, and like just that's what we're watching, and that's how she watched that. She watched Strawberry Field. A week before that, or 2 weeks before that, she watched Old Boy,
Oh, nice.
Which was weird.
It
because
was is it actually Wild Strawberries?
Wild Strawberries.
There we go. Yeah, Ingmar Bergman. It's so hard for me.
Yeah,
it's hard for me to say.
She watched both of those. She loved Oldboy. She couldn't. She's like, why is that a good film? Who thinks that's a good film? And it's just
Didn't like Oldboy?
No. She loved Oldboy.
Oh,
She
didn't like
Wild
Strawberries.
Strawberries.
Got it.
She's like, why is that a good film? And I was like, I don't know. I don't get 8.5, but it's considered a classic. You know, and it's still one of those like. Sometimes it's just history. Sometimes you gotta know a little bit more. And we're not film buff. Or like, none of us, I don't think, took a film class in school.
No, I didn't take a film class. So I'm sure there's probably some explanation about why it's great.
But we're working on it.
We're working on it, yeah.
And that's one of the things I kind of want to do is just see more films without knowing what it is.
Well, it's going to be difficult with trailers and whatnot. Especially,
I
was even going to ask you, did you see the new Valerian in the City of a Thousand?
Nope. You already have my money. Don't show me more.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
So
it's Luke Besson, and it's not a hitman type criminal.
To me, this looks like the film that I think everyone thinks The Fifth Element is, since I am not a fan of The Fifth Element.
I am a fan of Fifth Element,
which is interesting. But anyway,
it's one of those like the first showing of Fifth Element. The very first time I watched it, did not like it.
Okay, I'm on like the seventh time I've tried to watch this film, and
it's just one of those things where it's all like you just everything turns up to 11.
You
gotta be okay with that.
Yeah,
like,
I don't get it at all. I don't understand it at all. It's hey, whatever. If everyone likes it, that's fine.
All right. So I keep
giving it tries.
That's okay.
I think of the films that I've not liked, I think I've probably given Fifth Element the most attempts of like, okay, maybe I just wasn't getting it. Maybe this time I'm gonna like it, and watch it. And it's like, nope, nope, still don't like it. There's aspects of it I like, but in general, I just do not.
It's one of those like, I can totally understand like why somebody wouldn't like that film. It's just like, oh yeah, no, okay.
Yep, it's on my list of the 250 that I didn't give a very good review to.
All right, well,
but whatever.
Whatever.
Like you said, I mean, if there's out of 250 films, you would assume that like a handful are going to be ones that just don't resonate with you.
Yeah.
And so far I think I'm only up to like 4 or 5 that I just go, why is this on the top 250? Why are these considered classics? Because 9 out of 10 of them, I'm like, okay, I get it. This is good. Even if I don't if I don't particularly care for it all that much, I understand why it's a classic. But well, unless we have something else to talk about, no. I think we've beaten a bunch of topics into the ground. So bottom line is, to get back to what I had started saying, I think about 30 minutes ago, we're probably not going to have a podcast this weekend.
Oh yeah, back to that. Back to that pen.
Back to that. We put a pin in that and return to it. So yeah, probably not going to have a podcast this weekend. So probably we'll have it next weekend. However you want to look at that. Yeah. Not the first and second, but probably the the weekend like.
And then we got hammers. Maybe some put some on the back burner.
Yeah.
Get a couple in the queue. Because I'll be gone for 2 weekends.
Yeah, you're gonna be on Secret Agent Man or whatever.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to get into 2 countries and get out before the bombs start dropping.
Exactly, that's the important part. So I guess unless you have something else to say, all right. Well then, as usual, Scarface is overrated.
And keep your ticket stub.